to start off in a nice, comfortable seated position. So today's practice is going to be based on yesterday's Super Bowl game. I didn't watch it, however, a lot of people might have been. So I looked at a couple different scripture verses, and I thought this would be kind of a fun way to do it. Why should those folks be the only one that got to get some exercise? So let's just start off first in a nice, comfortable seated position. You can either put a blanket or any type of prop underneath you to allow your knees to be lower than your hips a little bit, or I should say at least an even. Crown your head up toward heaven. Relax your shoulders. Just going to feel your sits bone, the connection to the earth, your mat. If you like, you can close your eyes. And just allow your shoulders to sink back in. So your shoulder blades are tucked behind. Your shoulders are nice and broad. Really feel yourself relaxed. I'm just going to take a couple breaths here. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose. And instead of doing a 4-square breathing, I would like for us to do just a nice, even 4 breath count inward and 4 breath count outward, since we know it takes 4 downs, and then of course there's 4 quarters in a game. So as you inhale through your nose, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then as you exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you don't have to do any retention, just breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your nose. So your 4 counts could be at a different rate. It could be faster or slower. Just allow it to match each other. As you breathe in through your nose, you can feel your belly expanding, pressing against the abdominal walls, getting into your diaphragm and your lungs. And as you exhale, you can feel it expel outward, your navel coming back to the spine. Continue breathing. And set your own intention. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share one of the verses that I was thinking of. Especially seems to be inspirational in terms of what we're going to be facing. Do a little bit more strength building here. The Lord is my strength and my song. He has given me victory. This is my God, and I will praise him. So as we face different things, different challenges, we may decide on our own things that we need to rely on. The strengths that we will count on is always the Bible on the Lord. With that, we're going to open our eyes. Inhale our arms all the way up. For our head. Exhale it all the way back down. Inhale it back up. Arms up. Palms touch each other. Exhale it back down. And this time is an inhale it all the way up. Do a V for victory. Now we're going to bring into like a football field. So bring your elbows down, bend your elbows, your arms up, your shoulder blades still tucked back, and then try to feel your shoulders flexing back. Now, if this bothers your shoulders, you can always drop one of your hands to the shoulder, whichever side, completely fine. Always go to your own level. Breathe. Inhale again. And as you exhale, bring your forearms toward each other. Inhale, open. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Bring your hands down. Start feeling warm. Inhale your shoulders up. Exhale down and back. Allow your elbows to start moving. Inhale all the way up your shoulders again. Exhale this and allow your elbows to roll. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale all the way down for lunges. Slow moon. Up. Inhale all the way up. Exhale all the way down. We're going to get into our hands and knees. So we're kneeling down, knees underneath our hips, hands directly underneath our shoulders. Check your knees, check your feet. Your feet are directly behind. Your fingers are nice and spread out, thumb toward each other, index finger straight up toward the top of your mat, other 3 fingers spread out. So you want to keep your head to be in alignment with your spine, and do some cat-cows and allow yourself to go to your own level. So you don't have to go to your extreme. So as you inhale, drop your belly down, bring your shoulders toward each other, maybe gaze up, be nice to your cervical spine. As you exhale, you're going to press into your hands. You're going to tuck your tailbone under, tucking your chin down, so you're arching back up. But again, you don't have to go to your full amount range. Inhale back, just giving a little bit of motion to our spine. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. We're going to bring our left foot forward, so your left foot comes towards your left hand. Your right knee still down. You can always choose to use a block, so you can have a block underneath, kind of like we're running, right? So one of the verses that we always talk about is, do you not know that in a race, all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the game goes through a strict training. They do it to get a crown, or in Super Bowl case, a trophy or some type of ring. But as far as a crown, that will not last. But we do it to get a crown that will last forever. As we're stretching, you can feel the stretching along your hip flexor, possibly around your right hip flexor. Check your knee on your left foot. Check to make sure that the left knee is over that ankles. If you need to, you can always scrunch your left foot forward. You don't need to have a beyond blocks or anything like that. That's only if you want to keep your spine a little bit straighter up. You can still be on the ground down here. But what I found out is when I do that, I tend to work my left hip a little bit too quickly. So I've been using blocks. You can always use toilet paper, anything like that. If you want to make this a little bit more strengthening, you can now tuck your right foot, your right toe, and lift your right knee up off the ground so you can feel it a little more strengthening, more engaging your glutes, even the right quads. Keep breathing. This is a great way to determine where you're at. And then if you want to pulse a little bit, so you can pulse back and forth. You can even do this with your right knee down, just getting a little bit of motion into the joints. If you feel like it's a little extreme on your wrist, you can always, bring your fist, make a little fist, and go onto your knuckles. Now, as we're going to get ready into our first downward facing dog, and bring your hands back down. Make sure your right foot is back down to toes if you're ready, and then take a step back with your left foot. We're going to our first downward facing dog. You should be able to feel a difference between between the legs. So we were just stretching out the right side, so that might feel a little bit looser versus the left. You can pedal it out. You can always have your knees bent a lot more. And then when you're ready, drop your left knee down and bring your right foot up. So bring your right foot up so that the right heel is underneath that right knee. All right, so just working the other side now. So the hip flexor, now this time the left leg is behind. So you have the option, again, you can choose to have your blocks or your hands straight down on the floor, yogi's choice. Allow maybe the hip flexor to go. Sometimes with your left knee being on the ground, you might feel like it's already a little bit more intense. So you may prefer actually to just lift the left knee up. So even though this is more strengthening, it's still a little bit easier, I feel like sometimes on the stretching part. So nice little psoas action, connecting between your lower body and your upper body. Really take awareness of what your body is telling you. Athletes tend to really have to be in tune to their body. It's really important. But as Christians, we know it's not just the body. Our body is a vessel, but it's also the dwelling place of our spirit. So the Holy Spirit can dwell within us. So it's really important for us to keep the temple clean and healthy. So again, if you want, you can always start doing a little bit of the pulsing. So your left toes are on the mat, kind of pulsing forward and back. Check to see if maybe your jaw is tight. Can you relax it? If it's tight, you can always run your tongue from the right side to the left side of your upper teeth. Going here. And drop that left knee back down. Feel the difference there. Might relax the right leg's quad muscles. And then place your hands back down onto the mat. Tuck your left toes. Lift the left leg up if it wasn't already, and take a step back to your right foot. So we're back into that downward facing dog. All right. You can always bring your body forward, top of a plank. You can always drop your knees, completely fine. Just make sure your shoulders are over those wrists, or widen your wrist. We're gonna throw yourself, bring in, kind of like you're trying to pull your mat toward each other as you bend your elbows, rotting it down, and then pushing forward into your baby cobra. And then let's bring ourselves back into our child's pose. So as we bring our hips back down toward our heels, hands are still extended forward. Perhaps your forehead can touch the mat, or place a block or a pillow or any kind of prop, just to help it relax. And if your shoulders feels tight, you can always walk your hands out to the width of your mat. Just feel what's comfortable. You can feel a difference. But I really would want you to sense, as you're breathing here, your inhalation and exhalation, as you're breathing, you're pressing your belly into your upper thighs. Really feel the expansion along your back. Imagine yourself trying to inflate a football. And then when you're ready, come forward, tucking your hands back underneath, shoulder width apart, tucking your toes up. This time, we're going to bring our left leg up slightly behind us. And as you bend your left knee, bring your left foot forward toward your left hand. To walk it up, drop your right heel down. We're coming up into our warrior one. So bending your left knee, lift your arms all the way up. Warrior one. Now, if you want, you can always have your feet a little bit closer. So let's drop into warrior two. Your left hand straight in front, over that left leg. Left leg is still bent. Now, football. So pretend you grab a football, right hand reaches upward, and kind of have your tucked, and then if you want to shoot it forward, like you're throwing it. So when you throw it forward, you can feel a little bit of rotation in the right hip. A nice little motion, so just be kind of a nice little motion of your joints. And then as you shoot it back, pulling it back, throw it forward. Bring it back, exhale it forward. So you can feel it. So you can go to your own extension. You don't have to go a full rotation you want, but you're getting a little bit of spinal twist, allowing a little bit of pull. Breathe in so you feel like your chest expanding, and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Now, both hands grabbing onto that nice little trophy, lift it up. Open your arms, elbows bent into that field goal. Exhale all into that warrior two. And let's cartwheel our hands all the way down to the floor. Rotate your right heel back. We're going to take a step back into your downward facing dog. If you want, you can do a chaturanga, which is the vinyasa flow, or you can stay here in downward facing dog. So you can stay here in downward facing dog. You can always go into a child's pose. Listen to your body. Want to do a vinyasa flow? Just go into your plank. Gradually bend your elbows up. And come back into your downward facing dog. Let's get ready for the other side. So this time, you're lifting your right foot up. We're going to bend that right knee, bring that right foot by your right hand. Drop your left ankle down, left heel down. Come up into your warrior one. Same thing, nice warrior one. So check your right knees over that right ankle. Arms up. So your whole body, your hips and everything are facing toward the top of your mat, okay? So you can always step in. You don't have to be spread out really wide. You didn't have really long legs. Go into your warrior two. So you're gonna rotate your left heel, so it's almost like parallel, and your right arm's out over that right foot. Lift arms straight back. This does not feel good to you, or you feel like your shoulders tight, you can always rotate your palms upward. Isn't it amazing? You lift your arms up, receive what God has blessed for us, and feel some relief. If you're ready, you want to do we're going to be a left-handed quarterback. So you can bend that left elbow, grab that little football in your hand, and exhale it forward. Inhale, pull your throwing arm back. Exhale, forward. So when you're doing that, you can feel a little bit of motion again. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Grab both hands. Grab that trophy. I'm talking about that Super Bowl trophy. Inhale it all the way up. We have something even better than that. I will lift the cup of salvation, exhaling into a field goal of that total victory, right? And from this cup of salvation, we can call on the name of the Lord and exhale back into warrior two. He gives us the strength, defeats any possibility that we may be facing. Exhale your hands all the way down into your downward facing dog, so roll it down. Take a step back with the right foot. If you like, you can start bending your knees a much, walking your hands towards you. We're into our squat. Oh yeah. Squat, squat, squat. Right. As you're squatting here, you can go to your level. Squatting is sometimes not comfortable for people. I'm going to be facing you. Listen to your knees. You can always use a block or anything like that to sit on it, lift up at whatever level. Or if you're like, okay, great, I'm not that flexible, but you have the great opportunity to be working on those other muscles. So you get to hover. And so you can hover, which is good in terms of strength. We did say that the Lord is my strength in my song. So as your muscles are singing, like, oh, how do I get out of here? You can be doing this. That's completely fine. So you can get your nice spine straight. Might not be directly upright, because if so, you might be tucking your spine, your lower back, lumbar, but okay. Oh, I am feeling this. Be kind. Inhale all the way up. Ooh. Exhale your hands to heart center. Oh yeah, need to cry out, Lord, on that one. Inhale your arms all the way up to heaven. Lower back bend. Exhale. Bring your arms out. Let's bring your feet, so your feet are parallel to each other. Nice things straddle. Nice little star pose. Try to make sure you're not completely locking your knees. So a slight little micro bend of your knees. As you bend at your hip forward, so your legs are against the invisible wall. Bend forward. Spine's nice and straight. Maybe perhaps drop your head further down. Feel some release in your lower area into your cervical spine, your neck. You can always drop your hands all the way down and can either reach the outside of your ankles, or you can place it right underneath your head on the floor. It's time to get a little bit of spinal twist. Drop your left hand directly underneath your nose if your nose is straight down to the ground. Inhale your right arm up. If you want, you bring your gaze up to the extended arm. First down. Exhale your right hand down to where the left hand's at. Inhale your left arm up. If you want, you bring your gaze up to your left hand. It doesn't have to. You can always look toward the side or up back down on the floor. Second down. Bring your hand back down. Exhale. Replace your left hand where your right hand's at. Inhale your right arm up. Third down. Exhale your right hand back down to where your left hand's at. Inhale your left arm up with your left hand. Again, you can bring your gaze up. Fourth down. Ooh. Luckily, no penalty calls. So let's bring our left hand down. Bend your knees. Bring your heels slightly inward as you bend your knees. All right. We're going to be like the center. So your knees are bent slightly, kind of like in that squat. Pretend you're grabbing onto your football and you just swing. So as you're grabbing an imaginary football, just allowing it to swing and feel a little bit of looseness into your shoulder joints. You may feel a little bit of motion along your hip joints as well. But more importantly, you probably feel a little bit of engagement, more strengthening along your quads, your hamstring. I should say hamstring. Now, as we inhale our arms all the way up, start straightening your body. Exhale, your hands all the way down. Great. Bring your right foot so that it's parallel to the back of your mat. Rotate your left foot forward. Inhale your arms up as you bend your left knee, so back into that warrior two. Bring that football in your right hand as you rotate that right palm up. Inhale here. Exhale, bring your right hand forward. Open up again. Exhale. And I really want you to really imagine your muscles working this. So it's not just like moving your arms. I want you to really, it's like isometric on your own, pulling it back with strength. Exhale forward. Inhale, open. Exhale. Inhale. exhale. For inhale, all the way up, straighten that left leg, rotate that left foot, open arms, you can drop it, rotate your shoulders. Okay, more. Rotate your right foot to the back of the mat. Your left foot should be now parallel to the top of your mat, but now it's the back. Confusion, right? And inhale and inhale your arms up and bend your right knee. All right. You got that nice little warrior two. We're gonna do the same thing. Rotate that left palm forward, upward toward heaven. You got that nice little football. We're doing the winning football throw. Inhale, exhale forward. Inhale, bring it back. So really use your muscles. Go your own rate. Really feel the joints opening. Feel your muscle engaging. Feel even your spine's nice and straight. Your feet are nice and grounded. Open up. Straighten your right leg. Rotate the right foot. Drop your hands down. Rotate your shoulders. So your shoulders may be a little fatigued. You're going to bring your arms up as you bring your right elbow underneath your left. So you're going to bend both elbows. So your right is under your left. You may be able to either make eagle arms, or if you want, you can just grab your shoulders with your opposite hand. Do a little bit of stretch. And then if possible, just slightly lift the elbows upward to meet the shoulder height. Feel a little bit of stretch. Be kind, okay? A little stretching is good. You need stretching. You don't want to stretch anything too far too quickly. Rotate it out. Inhale. As you exhale, go with the opposite. And this time, left elbow under the right elbow, both of them bent. So again, I'm going to explain it slowly. I'm going to bring your left elbow under your right. So both of them bent. Again, you can either have the palms stick together for eagle arms, or you can always just bring kind of like the I dream of genie. And what do you wish for? So sort of like an eagle, or you can make your wish. And see if you can bring your elbows to the same plane as your shoulders. Feel the stretch. Breathe. Beautiful. And release. Arms out. And then you're going to slowly come down. So you can do it a couple different ways. You can bend your knees, get seated, or if you want to do a vinyasa flow, you can always bring your left foot to the front, cartwheel your hands down to the floor, and then go into your downward facing dog and go through one more vinyasa flow. So you can go into your downward facing dog, inhale to plank, and chaturanga down. So just slowly lower yourself. One upward facing dog, and then we're gonna take a seat onto our bottom. All right, so I had to look up what exactly was a buccaneer, like for the pirates, and they were privateers, sailors. Did you know that? I didn't know that. So we know as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Figure that means they're sailors. We're gonna do some boat pose. However, we're gonna have lots of different types of boat pose. And with me turning on the heater in this room, so get yourself into whatever position you want, seated. I'm going to give you the different options of boat pose, Navasana. So the great thing about this is great for core strengthening, very important. So you can have some blocks nearby. You can even later on opt to have a strap or some type of prop to allow you to make it a little bit more restorative. So if you want, you can grab onto that later on. But let me show you for your Navasana or boat pose. So have your feet same hip width apart, heels down. Okay, so heels down. So you can stay here. Knees are bent. back is nice and straight. So later on, you might be tilted, but again, you want your back nice and straight, okay? You really don't want to be arching or anything like that. So Navasana, we can always choose to have your hands by your knees. And when you lift it up, you can see how it's kind of like parallel to the floor. You can also choose, so I'm going to give you can choose to have your hands out, your hands be below, so we feel it, so working your core. Or even better yet, you can opt to have only one leg up, have the other foot down, or even have it rotate down. So if you have your right foot, I'm going to rotate towards, so maybe you can see me, you can have your right leg down, kind of like in Baddha Konasana, like the butterfly pose. You can have the left foot up and up that way. So we do that. Now, more importantly is jut that heel outward. Okay, you don't want to be pointing your toes forward. You want to be pointing, if you want to call it, your heels outward. Okay, you can feel a little more engagement there. Oh yeah, it's working. Even doing this works. But if you're doing this, make sure you're not holding your breath. Just keep breathing. If it's shaking, the magic's happening. So you can go to 4 breath counts at least. And when you're ready, you can always switch to the other side. So if you were doing, I was doing those one-legged boat pose, so I got to make sure I'm not off balance. So boy, talk about tipping over. So then my right leg's up. Make sure you're jutting that heel. You see how having this bent, still trying to keep my chest straight. I'm using my hands to lean forward. Or again, if you want, you can feel a little bit different engagement on your core. See if you can do that 4 breath count. All right. When you bring both feet onto the ground, you can feel your quads starting to relax. Think about your core is not just at the stomach. It's all the way down, reaches down, above. Relax it. You can always bend some more. We're going to do 3 cycles. All right, so I'm going to try to do a different pose. So I did the single pose there. So I'm going to actually have my feet this way. I'm going to try to do it without my arms. So again, you choose which kind. Make sure those heels sticking outward. Make sure you're not rounding your back. Nice straight back, spine straight. See if you can do your breath cycles. Then you drop your heels down, round your back, and right. Oh, I tell you this much. My boat was going through some rocky seas because with my breathing, I could just feel my body shaking. But we do know where we can keep our eyes focused on in those stormy times. All right. Third one's the charm. So if you want, you can, again, choose your hands down. The other option, and I've shown this in different classes, is you can just have your heels straight down there and pull inward, and you can feel your core being engaged there. So you can always do that. And honestly, I feel like when you do that, it feels like there's this nice little beautiful support in your lower back. So you can opt to do that. I'm gonna be a little bit for the keep training. So, and for those that really want to, you can even have your arms up. You really want to try to be the V for victory, you can do that. And really great job. All right. Good thing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won yesterday, because in this case, this ship would have been like going down soon. All right, let's get ready. We're gonna still work on strength. So if you have a block or some type of toilet paper or something, we're gonna work on some of those adductors and adductors. So you can have a block, place it in between your thighs. So you can have this seated, or you can even do this standing up. Okay, I like, you can't even see where this is. So I have this, I'm trying to keep my knees still kind of like hip width apart. So some people can choose to have it on the thinner side or on the medium side. You can use a pillow or anything like that in between. All right, so I just want to show you that. Just thinner side. So as you're pulling your knees or thighs, inner thighs together, it's working your adductors, okay? So imagine you can feel it engaging inward. So you're pressing it in, really pressing it in. Okay. Now, if you feel like this is going to give you like those Charlie cramps with your calves, you can do this standing up if you really want to work the other ones. And this works really wonderful in that sense. So you do this standing up. Okay, kind of like chair pose. We keep the watching the game, or lazy boy chair. But in this case, as you're pressing in, we're going to do it one extra step. I want you to feel like you're trying to pull and grab whatever prop you have in there, and pull it up away. And you're trying to hold it in. So imagine yourself with $100 bill or the golden ticket. You're trying to keep someone from pulling away from you. You're really pulling it in. And you're going to feel some other muscles tightening, okay? You can still do the seated. Keep breathing. And you're going to feel how this is really working in that lower abdominal muscles, way deep, deep, deep inside. And then just for kicks, you try to push against your block, to try to push it through, pop it through. And then you're really kind of squeezing in, and you're noticing other muscles trying to be engaged for it. So then just for relax, you can keep trying to pull and push. So I can't tell what you're doing, but you're going to be able to tell for yourself. Talk about that, All right. Let's get back. If you were standing, and take a seat. Let's get onto our back. Now it's important for you to keep your gaze upward. We're going to do our nice little bridge pose. So your feet are at hip width apart, knees are bent, so your soles of feet are on the ground. If you like, if you did have a block, you can always keep it in between your thighs. This is a good way to kind of bring awareness to the fact that your legs won't splay outward or inward or anything like that. So that's a nice little way to do reminders. Props are wonderful in that sense. Your hands are down by your hips. Now make sure your shoulders aren't rolling forward. Your gaze is always going to be heavenly, so look straight up. Isn't that the right thing to do? Keep our gaze always heavenly. Keep our eyes on Christ. And then as you start tucking to the point where your lower back makes contact with the floor, just gentle. As you feel it slowly come down, lower back comes down, start lifting your hips up. As you lift your hips up, your gaze still remains heavenly. Don't look to the side. Your hips are going up, your knees are going to go away from you, lifting it up. So your entire back becomes nice and straight. And feel some pressure along your shoulders. Don't bring your gaze to the side. Keep it up so you can feel a little bit more pressure on your shoulders, maybe on the back of your head. All right. Keep it up. You can feel your quads working, maybe even glutes. Breathe here, nice and gentle. Strength, strength, strength. Now pretend you're trying to move your mat away from each other. So your right foot's trying to drag the mat to the right, and your left foot's trying to drag the mat to the left at the same time.
Feel what happens, engagement, but don't let your knees splay out. Keep breathing. Don't let your hips start dropping downward. Oh, yeah. And then you're going to go in the opposite direction. Try to you're dragging your right foot, the mat underneath your right foot toward the center, and your left foot's trying to drag the mat underneath it toward the center line. So trying toward each other, squeeze it inward. You can feel the muscle engagement. Don't let your hips drop. And then slowly allow one vertebrae at a time, the top part, kiss the mat. Slowly, next, back your lumbar down. Bring your knees up. Hug your knees to your chest. Rock a little bit side to side. We're going to do this again. So again, if you do have a block, this is a wonderful way to do this. Have a block between your thighs. Same thing, soles of feet on the floor. Your gaze is up toward heaven. As you inhale here, slowly start tucking your tailbone so that your lower back makes contact with the floor slightly. Lifting your hips upward, your knees start going away from you. Gaze continue to stay upward. Lifting your hips up. Now you can feel your shoulders taking a little bit more of the weight. You could even allow your chin to slightly tuck a little bit so you can feel a little bit more on the back of your head. Just be very, very cautious of your cervical spine, so don't bring your gaze to the side. Keep your eyes, your gaze still upward. Lifting up more. You can always keep your hands where it's at, or if you want to bind them, meaning you can allow your fingers to interlace with each other, that's an option. And then maybe you can even have your arms, the shoulders tucked underneath. You don't need to. Again, keep your gaze upward. Same thing as what we did beforehand. Imagine yourself pulling the mat with the bottom of your feet away from each other. So you're pulling, trying to make the width even wider. So pull it away. If you happen to have a block, you know that if you pulled your knees apart, then the block would fall. So you don't want that to happen. To feel the engagement there, you can probably feel it. Oh yeah, your gluteus maximus, AKA butt cheeks, starting to feel some muscles being tightened. Keep going, keep breathing. And relax. Now try to bring your mat to be even thinner as possible. So try to bring your feet in toward each other. You feel yourself, oh yeah, strengthening here, and relax. Release your hand if they were intertwined, and then slowly start allowing each vertebrae to come back down one at a time. That's my favorite part. All right, bring your knees up to your chest, hug your knees, rock a little bit side to side. Be kind. Everyone's going to be at a totally different level, right? Just think about it. If you're on a team of some sort, you have the coaches there, the experts at things. This time we're going to bring both hands over to your right knee, interlace your fingers so that your right knee is tucked in between, and bring your right knee to your chest, hugging it. You extend your left foot straight up toward heaven. Soles your feet up toward heaven. Slowly lower your left foot all the way down. Your right knee still up against your chest. You may feel a little bit of stretch along that left hip. Keeping that left foot flexed. You may be able to feel more of the left leg make contact with the floor. Ooh. If you want, you can flex that right foot as well, and then rotate it. But pretend you're drawing with your big toe a big circle. The clock is ticking, so make a big circle like a clock. Not a digital clock, so the old-fashioned clocks. And rotating the other way. If we can turn back time. And what you may notice is how one direction is easier than the other side. And it actually uses different muscles. So you can probably feel it even along your calf muscle. Relaxing. This time you can keep the left hand over that right leg, extend your right arm out, and then invite your right leg over your extended left leg. So you're going to do a spinal twist. Keep your right shoulder on the ground. You can always have some sort of property and just allow your right leg to be levitating off the ground. It doesn't matter. Be kind. You don't have to force it. You don't want to force it. Continue breathing into your 4 breath count. We're in that third quarter, so continue your 4 breath count. And if you like, you can always bring your gaze over to your extended right fingers. Just an option. Bring your gaze back to center. Bring your right leg, right knee back to center. Bend your left knee, hug your knees to your chest. Rock a little bit side to side. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So both hands over the left knee, under the left knee. Interlace your fingers, hug your left knee to your chest. Extend that right leg straight up, sole of your right foot up toward heaven. See, I guess I can see if we've been walking clean, if our feet are clean. So as we start lowering our right leg, and then keeping that right foot flexed. See how much of the right leg can make contact. Now you can flex that left foot. And then you can do the rotation. So again, big toe is drawing big circles. So big toe, drawing big circles. So you're really working our ankle joints, our ankle joint. And then go into the opposite direction, going back. Reversing time. Great I am. Was, is, will be. And this time having your right hand over that left leg, extend your left arm out. And then if you're ready, you can just gently invite that left leg over the extended right. Don't have to go far. Left shoulder still on the ground. Keep that nice stretch. You're working the spinal twist. So your left leg could be hovering over it. It's completely fine. Allow it to go nice and slowly. And be kind to yourself. Not just physically, but also mentally. And at one time or another, you may have been able to reach it, but today's a different day. We face different things every day. And most importantly is we can face it with God. God's always there for us. So that's as you kind of reach. You can always bring your gaze over to your left finger if you want. Continue doing that for a breath count. And you may notice that it feels like sometimes your body, your fascias are melting a little bit. So you may feel yourself being able to go further or deeper. But remember, it's not always that goal to touch the floor completely. More importantly is listening carefully. Bring your gaze back to center. Slowly derotate, so allow your left leg come back. So hip makes contact. Bend your right knee, hug both knees to your chest. Rock a little bit side to side. If you like, you can even tuck your chin down and bring your forehead to your knees, kind of like a little football. So you're the left football, the winning game football. Rock a little bit side to side. Come back down. And we're going to go into the fourth quarter, the best part, Shavasana. So if you want, you can either just bring your right heel to the right corner of your mat and left heel to the right corner, or feel free to put some type of prop underneath your knees, or get whatever props. You can create a circle roll and put it underneath your neck. If you want to have a little bit more of a heart opener, you can place a prop, a block, or a bolster underneath your chest. But as you get ready for your final resting pose, Shavasana, also known as dead corpse pose, tuck your shoulder blades underneath, call them your angel wings, your chest, your heart's up toward heaven, your hands are down by your side, but it's not always straight down by your side, but a little bit out an angle. Palms facing upward if it's okay for you, more receptive. But if it doesn't feel good for your shoulders or whatever, you can always have a palm downward. Check to see if your forehead could be at least the same level, if not slightly higher than your chin. So if you need to, you can place a blanket or two underneath your head. Just slight little tuck of your chin downward. Reach your heels outward away from you, and then relax your legs. Check to feel how your hips, your lower back feels. Again, for lower back pain, sometimes it really bothers to have your legs straight out. So you can always have your knees bent. You can always put props underneath it, a bolster, or you can even move to a wall, have your legs up the wall, or you're laying next to your bed, have your legs up against the bed, or even a chair or couch. Close your eyes. As we enter into that fourth and final phase, fourth down, Shavasana, dead corpse pose is a great reminder, even though death may be end of here on earth, we have an eternal promise. Our faith knows what's been promised to us by God. For those who believe that He did send His one and only Son for us, to die for us, so that we may have eternal life with Him. Continue breathing here, Completely surrendering any type of tension you may have. Feel your breath as you inhale. As you exhale, you can just feel that energy, that light just spreading throughout your body, up through your head, clearing your mind. When you're ready, come back to this world. Just bring a little bit of awareness back into your body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rotate your ankles and your wrists. You may want to inhale your arms over your head. Walking your feet toward each other slightly. And as you exhale, bend your knees. Bend your elbows. And roll over to your right side. Placing maybe your hands underneath your head. The right hand underneath your head to keep your cervical spine alignment. Keep your eyes closed. Just enjoy the sensation. Continue breathing here, staying connected. Your left hand may be contact onto the floor. And as you exhale, you can always use that upper left hand to press yourself upward in comfortable seated position. Keep your eyes closed. Find whatever seated position that feels comfortable. Sits bone connected. Crown your head up toward heaven. Eyes remaining closed. This time your hands are resting gently on top of your thighs, but palms facing upward to receive God's love, His grace, His mercy. Take your own breath, your 4-cycle breaths. As mentioned before, if we're ever in any type of team, we know we have coaches. More importantly, here that we know this team that we're in, this kingdom of God. We have others, brothers and sisters, be with us, help guide us. Let's do 3 nice, beautiful cleansing breath cycles. So I want to ask you, invite you to join me in a full inhale through your nose. Exhale out breath through your mouth, as if you're in a mirror. Nice cleansing breath. Full inhale here. Exhale. Another full inhale. Deep cleansing exhale. Bring your hands together, palms touching palm, thumb resting right above your heart. Tucking your chin down toward your heart. And knowing this, and when the chief shepherd
appears, you will receive the unfading crown of glory. Much better than a trophy or ring. It's the cup of salvation, the promise that God's given us through Jesus. Thank you for coming. Amen. Thank you, Lord.